role in promoting Pakistan's business community and has played a key role in shaping FPCCI's strategic direction. He advocates for economic reforms, particularly in the energy sector, and recently supported the termination of costly agreements with IPPs, projecting savings of over 400 billion rupees. He emphasizes inclusive leadership, stating that FPCCI is the apex body of the entire business community and should not be dominated by one single group. We would request Mia Zahid Hussain Saab Sitare Imtiaz to kindly, sir, take the podium. He will speak on maritime and economic development. Sir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dr. Mustaghisur Rahman and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It's a profound honor to speak on a subject of immense and often underestimated importance to our nation's future, the pivotal role of the maritime sector in Pakistan economic development. Since our independence, our national narrative has been land-centric. Yet a glance at the map reveals our profound maritime identity. Pakistan is blessed with a 1,050-kilometer coastline and a vast exclusive economic zone that spans approximately 290,000 square kilometers. This extensive maritime domain is not just a geographical feature, it is a strategic asset and cornerstone of our economic prosperity. The global trading landscape is predominantly navigated through maritime routes, with over 90% of international trade being carried by sea. In Pakistan, this significance is mirrored as approximately 80% of our national trade is conducted via sea routes, and our ports, Karachi, Port Qasim and Gwadar are the gateways that connect Pakistan to the world, handling the overwhelming majority of our imports and exports. While maritime operations currently contribute a modest of 0.5% to our national GDP compared to the global average of around 7%, this disparity is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it reflects the immense untapped potential awaiting strategic development. Our heavy dependence on foreign shipping companies remains a pressing concern. A staggering 90% of Pakistan's maritime tonnage is transported by foreign vessels, resulting in an annual cost of $3 to $4 billion in freight payments. The reliance places a significant financial burden on our economy and underscores the urgent need to strengthen our domestic shipping sector. Today, Pakistan's national fleet stands at just 57 ships, a number that pales in comparison to Bangladesh, that is 468 ships, an example of how we have lagged behind even in our own region. The Pakistan National Shipping Corporation must therefore be empowered and modernized to enhance its competitiveness in global shipping industry and effectively meet the evolving demands of international trade. The emerging blue economy vision is gaining a new dimension through the evolving strategic landscape of the Indian Ocean. Geopolitical partnerships are now shifting their focus to the maritime domain, recognizing the Indian Ocean as the new heart of global trade and influence. This is particularly relevant given China's Indian Ocean Forum strategy and its broader goal is to securing sea lines of communication for its energy and trade needs. With major choke points like the Strait of Hormuz facing increasing instability from regional conflicts, the importance of reliable and secure maritime routes has never been more critical. Pakistan's unique geographic position near the mouth of the Strait of Hormuz, coupled with the development of Gwadar Port under CPAC, offers a historic opportunity. By strategically aligning with these regional dynamics, Pakistan can not only strengthen its own maritime sector but also position itself as a pivotal geopolitical player, offering a stable and efficient alternative gateway for a significant portion of global trade. Our two largest ports, Karachi and Port Qasim, remain central to our trade infrastructure. Karachi Port, the nation's busiest, is a vital commercial hub, while Port Qasim, with its specialized terminals for bulk cargoes such as coal, oil, and LNG, provides critical support to our industrial base. Gwadar Port, however, stands as the jewel of our maritime future. As a flagship project under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, Gwadar is being developed into a world-class deep-sea port. Its strategic location at the crossroads of South Asia, Central Asia, and the Middle East positions it as a potential global trade hub, offering the shortest and most efficient trade route to the landlocked Central Asian republics and Western China. Gwadar has the capacity to reshape regional trade dynamics and foster unprecedented economic cooperation. However, we all have to contribute to operationalize Gwadar Port in its full swing. Beyond the movement of goods, the maritime sector encompasses a wide range of economic activities. The fishing industry, for example, is a vital component of our blue economy that can directly employ over 300,000 people and sustain hundreds of thousands more in supporting industries. It not only generates significant export revenue, likewise our shipbuilding and repair capabilities led by the Pakistan National Shipping Corporation and Karachi Shipyard and Engineering Works hold immense potential. By expanding our national fleet and modernizing these facilities, we can significantly reduce our dependence on foreign shipping companies, thereby saving billions of rupees in annual freight payments. To unlock this potential, we must address a number of pressing challenges These include investing in modern port infrastructure, adopting sustainable fishing practices to prevent over-exploitation of resources, and embracing new technologies to enhance maritime security and operational efficiency. By addressing these challenges and tapping the potential of the blue economy in its real sense, Pakistan can also become a pivotal player in evolving a maritime landscape in the current bipolar world. And in the end, I again thank you, the Barrier University and the faculty, to give me the opportunity to speak this August gathering, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your kind words. Sir, आप उतरिए नहीं, please. Please अभी आइए नहीं. Okay, I will request the principals of the two schools and the organizers, the main organizers, to come forward for the group photograph with the honored guest.
Supply chain management. Before we invite Tanveer Sahab, let me introduce him. He has been associated with the federal government as a member customs in FBR, and he has his long career with the civil services. And after the retirement, he is running his own consultancy, as well as he is also working as a senior consultant with the Global Compact Network Pakistan. This is GCNP, is a United Nations arm working in Pakistan, and we're working on a project along with the Maritime Anti-Corruption Network based in Denmark. So shall I request Mr. Tanveer Saab to come on the podium and start his presentation on TIR. So ladies and gentlemen, kindly welcome Mr. Tanveer Saab.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sayyid Tanveer Ahmed, and I'm presently associated with the United Nations Global Compact Network and MACN, that is the Maritime Anti-Corruption Network, Denmark. Basically, MACN, United Nations Global Compact, it was formed by Mr. Kofi Annan, and they are doing some work on SDGs in various parts of the world, including Pakistan, and on especially in maritime sector also. And some projects include like climate change and gender equality and many more. And in case of MACN, Maritime Anti-Corruption Network, it's the organization based in Denmark, and it has 220 shipping lines owners and international terminals as its members. And these all shipping lines, they basically trying to introduce good practices and trying to curb illegal practices in the maritime sector and specifically in the shipping sector. So we are also running a project here, and we are trying to introduce some good practices in the maritime, conduct some capacity building sessions, and we have conducted many training programs, and trying to introduce some reforms also with the help of government, DG Port and Shipping and Maritime Affairs Organization, Commerce and FBR. Today's topic is Afghan transit and TIR. It's of course a part of the, very important part of the logistics supply chain, and not very much talked about subject. Those who are associated with the logistic definitely knows about it. This presentation contains some very basic facts also, keeping in view that some students are also attending this session. So this is a part of, you can see a picture of Torkham. Basically, transit are the goods basically, which are sent to a landlocked country, and Pakistan is under the obligation, under the international conventions, to give right of pathway to the Afghanistan, and definitely those goods are sent without any payment of duty and taxes, and it goes to Afghanistan for its use. But our issue is, as all you know, you have heard many things about the smuggling. Pakistan's issue is that those goods are then flow back. It's flow back or revert back to Pakistan in the form of smuggled goods. Normally, most of our transit trade with Afghanistan, it takes place through Torkham, almost 60%, and rest from the Chaman. And we should take some advantages also of our geostrategic location also. And the common borders with the China, with India, and especially with CIS states has put Pakistan in a very, very important position. Just you can very well imagine that it takes almost more than 70 days if Russia wants to import something through Europe, and it takes only 27 days if those goods are routed through Pakistan. So in many meetings which have been attended by the logistics people in Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. The Russians especially have requested that Pakistan should open its policies and should facilitate, and they are willing to give order for its initially to that company that you should immediately send us, if you can, 20,000 containers to us. In many countries, the transit trade is basically a major source of earning also, and they are contributing as high as 5 to 7% of GDP. In our case, if we really can use this transit trade as a very effective tool for economy, it can generate employment and can increase our GDP by at least 5.1%. They say that there will be no room at the roads and there will be a long queue of trucks from Karachi to Torkham and Chaman if we really want to use its true potential with CI states. This is the transit, very brief view. I don't want to go into the details, but there was a transit trade agreement 1965. It was in force from, say, 65 to 2010. And it hardly merely consisted of 2 or 3 pages. So there was no details except given in some custom general orders, in some administrative orders, and something. Is there pani ke glass? Pani bottle, yeah. So means of main transportation, it used to be rail and it was very cheap. But subsequently, rail almost vanished and it has taken over all this transportation work by the bonded carriers and by the trucking people. Especially this is being undertaken by the bonded carrier. Bonded carrier means especially the licensed trucking companies. They give security to customs and then they just undertake all this transportation with all the sealing and monitoring and tracking mechanism. Up till now, we have 3 agreements, bilateral, that is with Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan, which we have concluded, and we are doing transit trade in these 3 countries. That is the length of routes. You can very well see the advantage of Pakistan over Iran and other. You can see that Karachi, Jalalabad is 1600 kilometers, whereas Chabahar to Jalalabad is 22,000, Bandar Abbas 2200. Again, Karachi Khost is 1300 kilometers, and where you can see the Chabahar is 1800 and Bandar Abbas 2000. Karachi Kandahar 900 and Chabahar. So Pakistan has a very clear advantage over other countries. I was I was the part of the team which basically concluded the new agreement, EPTA. EPTA, that is the Afghanistan-Pakistan Transit Trade Agreement, and I was negotiating that agreement on behalf of FBR, and I was heading that team. So we started the negotiations, and there some Indians, Iranis, Americans, they were there. At that time, they told that almost from, if you import something from Bandar Abbas, it cost you $800 more at that time. I don't know what is the position now. Afterward, there must be very much minimized transportation. There used to be trucks only with open trucks used to go, and that was a misuse also. So in this agreement, only containerized cargo was allowed. which was properly duly sealed. After that, pilferage reduced drastically. But two things more, that the rent of the container, Afghanistan is also a very poor nation. It increased the cost of transportation. It increased the cost of doing business. So what Iran did, that Iran made a 6-lane road from Chabahar to Afghan borders, and they allowed their own trucks that were they closed those trucks and sealed. So the containers were just returned at the port. So it saved a lot of money. So issue was, why can't we do it? Anyway, it was simply Iran was not facing that issue of smuggling and especially hitting industries and revenues, which Pakistan is definitely facing from Afghan transit trade. This is the transit trade and brief overview we have already discussed. Sorry. There is something wrong with it. I don't want to go into in detail about the advantages. Definitely it creates a lot of employment. At one time, 150,000 containers used to go to Afghanistan. Now probably it has reduced to 42,000. So definitely if 100,000 containers is reduced, it has reduced the employment in shipping sector and definitely in customs agent, in handling, in terminals. A complete chain is there, trucking, and on the way whole wheel of economy definitely goes with any one service, and that is a very major service which provides services to a number of sectors. So almost you can see that we calculated someone that almost it contributes 300,000 rupees per container for Pakistan. This is the process flow, that how the transit goods are cleared. So first of all, weighment takes place. Almost all the containers are scanned. At present, almost 80 to 90% container, it goes in green channel. Green channel, that is without any check. Only 5% or 10% are checked in yellow channel. That is, it's online. Only the appraising staff looks at the paperwork, and only 5%, 7% are being physically examined. So after that, examination if required, assessment, insurance, and then bonded carrier takes it. There is a tracking and monitoring system. Tracking and monitoring system, basically it's a real-time tracks and monitors on real-time basis, and they give alerts because it has a number of alerts. Geo tagging is also there. The routes are also fixed. If it goes out of its routes, definitely it gives the alert. If door is opened, or if the container is slightly moved off the vehicle, it will again. So there are a number of alerts that would be given by this tracking and monitoring system. There was only one company there was which used to do it, that is the TPL, but now there are 3 or 4 more companies which have taken license for this tracking and monitoring, including NLC, Falcon, and one other. Then sealing is done, and T1 is basically a form that is in Afghanistan at Torkham. All this transit cargo, it is basically transported to Jalalabad, where customs duty is paid and assessment is made, and it is transferred from Torkham to Jalalabad on a form in a consolidated manner on T1 form. We gave a suggestion that basically instead of this T form, Afghanistan should give us its goods declaration on which duty has been paid in Jalalabad, and that good declaration should be treated as cross-border certificate on which Pakistan should release the guarantee, because they submit bank guarantee and now insurance guarantee for the duty and taxes involved in those goods. And when these goods cross over Afghanistan, that guarantee is returned back. So there are some prohibitions in Afghan transit trade. The APTA, Afghanistan-Pakistan Transit Trade Treaty, basically it contains only one or two items which were originally included in the treaty. That were the arms and ammunition, some narcotics, and one other item. But due to smuggling, Pakistan issued an SRO, that is the notification, the statutory regulatory order, and included those items which cannot be taken into transit. So Afghanistan has many issues with us, and they always raise some complaints also in transit. First of all, they have some definitely reservations on the banned list, that there should be no banned list in Afghan transit trade. And the APTA, that is the Afghanistan-Pakistan Transit Trade Treaty, does not allow to ban certain items. Secondly, Pakistan has imposed last year 10% fee. As we have already said, that any country through which the transit goods are being passed, it cannot charge customs duty and taxes as such. So Pakistan is also not charging as per international convention, but it is imposed. It gives some right to impose fee. And fee is basically, we can differentiate from duty and taxes. Fee is a quid pro quo. That is, you can charge so much that amount which actually is incurred as per actual expenses. So Pakistan has levied 10% straight fee. Basically, it's a sort of duty just to make those items in transit expensive, so that they should not come back and some cost is increased. Afghanistan has also some reservations on it, and they want to renegotiate it. Then Pakistan, in original agreement, we used to take bank guarantee, then for 10 years, bank guarantee was replaced with the insurance guarantee. And I just told you that when we introduced this system, that they should submit a good declaration on which duty and taxes have been paid in Afghanistan. You can very well imagine that hundreds and thousands of consignments, they didn't come back to us that they have really paid duty in Afghanistan. And as a result, all their securities, these were sent to the banks and insurance companies for encashment. And a large number of banks and insurance companies, they were blacklisted by FBR at that time. So even banks and insurance companies were not just thinking that such a large number would not return and they would not be paying duty, and they will, because at that time that good declaration of Afghanistan was treated as cross-border certificate and a condition to release the bank guarantee. So insurance guarantees and bank guarantees. Later on, the banks then started that they should deposit 100% of security, and then they used to give bank guarantee. It increased a lot of definitely cost of doing business for Afghans. They requested again, after 2-3 years, again the bank guarantee was replaced with the insurance guarantee. But the issue is that insurance guarantee for Afghanistan, we are only taking for AA++, level insurance companies. Probably there are 2 or 3 companies like EFU, Jubilee, and State Life. The rest of the companies fall simply A or A+ and A-, and its bank insurance guarantees are not acceptable. And Then recently, after definitely this India-Pakistan episode, all the Indian origin goods, these were banned. That even these can, otherwise these Indian goods were being transported to Afghanistan through Dubai or through third party. But after that, this notification was issued that any import or export, that forward transit or reverse transit, Indian origin goods are banned. And then definitely they are also critical of our inconsistent policies, that you don't know that how the changes will be made, and the goods are definitely on the way when some rules or some are changed. So they want a consistency in our policy. Then TIR Carne, we will look at later on that TIR Carne is, though we are a member, but we are not issuing for Afghan transit trade. And their view is that as per agreement, Afghan-Pakistan Transit Trade Agreement, there is a Afghan-Pakistan Transit Coordination Authority. There are certain members, FBR, Commerce, 5-6 ministries are involved. There are 5-6 ministries and Federation Chamber of Commerce. So basically, this is the authority which should resolve all the disputes. But we have taken many unilateral actions just to stop the smuggling, just to discourage it. So they are quite, they have reservations, Afghanis have, on these steps. This is some transit trade figures. You can just see the number of TUs, or you can have a look at the, that is gradually decreasing. 18, 19. So if we tighten the policy, the containers are reduced. In 22-23, a little bit of a liberal. We were liberal, so transit was increased. And next year, it reduced to 60,000. So definitely it's impacting our overall employment level, overall cycle of economy also. In 24-25, we have also started a transit trade with Uzbekistan, and also where 9,000 containers were sent, and with Tajikistan, where 3,000 containers were sent. So that is what, that's a good start, that we have at least started some transit trade activity with CIS, Russian states, and the Commonwealth. This is the reverse cargo. Sorry. These are some international treaties. If some has interest, it can take this. Some students have interest, so they can take this presentation and look at these international treaties, which are also involved in directly, indirectly in the transit trade. That's the basically a map which is showing where Pakistan can go and how much area it can cover, basically from Turkey to Iran, and then these are the CIS states. And there is a huge potential. Pakistan-specific transit trade regimes, if someone is interested, that we have bilaterally. We have a APTA 2010, I have already mentioned in detail. Then Uzbekistan-Pakistan Transit Trade Agreement, and Tajikistan bilateral transit trade agreement. It's in process, Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan, almost near conclusion. And multilateral, quadrilateral, lateral 95 ECO, Central Asian Regional and International Road Transport, TIR. We are trying to approach this CARIC. We have already done an agreement, but not implemented except 3 or 4. And ECO and QTTA. quadrilateral. Trade with Central Asia. There are 11 states, Commonwealth of Independent States, and we should reach these, and Pakistan can be a hub for all these states. And definitely for expansion of trade, Central Asia, Pakistan require reciprocal facilitation. And the bottom line is that if we want to approach freely and increase our trade and volumes, we require stability and definitely peace in Afghanistan and good relations so that the goods may pass through smoothly and there should be no apprehensions to the buyers. These were some main issues I have already discussed. That smuggling is an issue. T1, we have replaced their good declaration with T1. And T1, if goes, normally we don't know 30%, 40%, they are not taxed in Jalalabad where they disappear. And service charges, dwell time definitely has increased. But now they have some perishable goods, and they oftenly complains about this. Tracking and monitoring. Now, this was the first leg of our speech or talk, and second is the TIR implementation. We will go very briefly about the TIR. So, TIR, it's the introduction, principles, advantages, and management structure. So, TIR basically, this facilitates for those who doesn't have an idea about TIR students. Basically, it facilitates movement of goods, and if goods they move from one country to second to third to fourth, and then to fifth country is the final destination. Then each country definitely has to pay customs duty or has to get through all the customs formalities. So before this TIR regime, Pakistanis, when they were sending their goods to Uzbekistan, they used to pay duty and taxes at Torkham, and then when they crossed over, they used to get refund of that amount. And in our sort of underdeveloped countries, you can very well imagine how they will be getting refunds. It will be so difficult, time lagging, cash flows definitely are stuck up, and definitely a lot of hassles in getting refund. So this is the solution, TIR, that from one country to fourth country, the TIR containers, they simply pass through, and these are sealed. And all the there is no custom formalities, there are no customs checks, there are no examination of goods at all in 2 or 3 countries, because the issue is that of main customs duties and taxes on goods as well as on the carrier. So that are being guaranteed by an international organization, that is IRU, International Road Union. It undertakes that if anything goes wrong, of goods disappears within some country, they will be paying duty and taxes. And the document which is issued by TIR, it is known as TIR Carnet. So international road transport. In Pakistan, in every country there is a national guaranteeing organization also, which gives local guarantee and which issues locally TIR Carnet. In Pakistan, International Chamber of Commerce, it is basically the organization which issues the carnet and which gives the guarantee also, and it takes certain portion of fee for each carnet. So basically, from landlocked to land-linked, one leg of journey should be by road, and only global transit system under UNICE, TIR convention. So public-private, it's a partnership, and IRU and Pakistan National Committee of International Chamber of Commerce, being headed by Mr. Rangoon Wala in Karachi. He's the head of this PNSEICC. There are 78 countries which have already acceded to this TIR convention, and Pakistan joined in 2015. So these are 5 pillars, basically secure vehicles and containers, international guarantee behind it, and then TIR carnet is issued either by the first country or the initiating country, and the mutual recognition of customs control. Everyone, customs administration, it accepts its conditions, and there is a controlled access on it. So these are the principles. Approval is needed for vehicle and road compartments. No goods can be added removed from these. Custom seals are simple and effective, no concealed spaces. All spaces have to be accessible for customs, and the detailed deregulation in the convention. This is that international guarantees. These are organized by International Road Union, and it gives 1,23,000 euros, and up till now there is 0.0006% claims only, and any country can claim guarantee from local association. This is the form of carnet, and this is printed and distributed by RU, and security elements are there, proof of guarantee, an internationally accepted custom document, and opened in the country of departure and serving as customs control document in countries of departure, transit, and destination. So this is the mutual recognition of customs control, that all countries should accept that they would not examine, they would not open, and they will abide by the convention. And there is no examination of container or vehicle in any country. And controlled access, National Association issues TIR carnet and act as guarantor, as guarantor. Here in Pakistan, this is the International Chamber of Commerce. And transport operators, these utilize this system. International organizations distribute carnet and manage guarantee. But now, instead of manual system, digital carnet is there. And digitally, when you feed information, the other countries already receive that information that such and such goods are in pipeline, and we will be receiving those goods. So minimum procedures at border points, and there is no restriction on mode of transport, multimodal. With us, the issue is that we have still not, I will take only 2-3 minutes more, that we have still not started multimodal. In VBOX system, we have this facility, but still we are, I don't know why we are not allowing. If we have to allow, definitely we have to allow the Afghanistan also. So we are sending those goods to Afghanistan, to Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan under the bilateral treaties. We are not doing it under the TIR or multimodal. Multimodal means that a container coming from ship and then loaded on some other transport model, that is the truck, and it goes away. So if there are two transportation are involved, mode of transportation, that is called multimodal. We have introduced multimodal module, but we have not still started it practically, because probably the fear is that Afghan transit trade will also be using that, and we are not allowing TIR to Afghanistan. Otherwise, if they utilize this, then definitely they will not be paying anything. You cannot impose the restrictions of negative list. So Pakistan has, those who are interested, these are the rules framed under TIR, and NLC, TCS, Best Trans, and some other companies. There are 16 companies basically which has taken TIR car name facility. So these are the notified stations from where TIR car name can be issued and facility can be availed. Port Qasim, Cham, Gavadat, Sust, Torkham, Ghulam Khan, Taftan. You can see that still we are far behind, though we are slowly, gradually moving towards that. We have now 16 companies registered. There used to be only 1 or 2, and 856 car names were issued, as against average of 19,000 for each nation. And 1.5 million car names are issued world over. NFC is, by the way, doing a great work, and they are taking the goods from China to Afghanistan and from Afghanistan to China. And the car name is being issued from Pakistan. Pakistan Customs, there are some these are some ETI procedures. This ETIR is, that is the total automation of TIR regime by the International Road Union, but it has not been implemented at that elsewhere also. Pakistan has successfully done its pilot project with Iran, with Turkey, and with they have already developed this system, but definitely other nations have also not implemented, so it will take some time to completely move towards automation system. The bottlenecks are definitely, there are complicated rules, there are high expensive, definitely Pakistan is charging much more duty to $300, which other countries are not doing it, and lack of awareness. And one of the major issues is that we don't have vehicles of international standard, because you cannot cross Afghanistan if you don't have international standard vehicles. So here comes the Ministry of Communication, and still our trucking policy has not been finalized despite Supreme Court's ruling and many more. You know, our roads are being damaged also, and we are not finalizing and sticking and adopting the international standards. So we don't have any vehicles. Now probably NLC have purchased some 100 vehicles, but where you are talking about 20,000 containers and 80,000 containers in a month going to Russia and CIS states, you need a lot of whole trucking, complete facility, and huge trucking companies, which we definitely lack. Even if we get the orders, we don't have international standard trucks with us. So we have to follow the Uzbek model. One thing is that we have done is that we are allowing cross-stuffing. Cross-stuffing for Uzbek, not for Afghanistan. Cross-stuffing means that somebody is importing, in simple words, its goods in a shipping line container, and then he brings his own container, rented or his own container. He ships goods from shipping lines container to his own container and send those goods to Uzbekistan or to CIS state. That is cross-stuffing. Pakistan has allowed this cross-stuffing for Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, but cross-stuffing is not being allowed, though there is no restriction in the law, but they are not allowing for Afghan transit trade. So this was all about transit and TIR. So thank you very much for patiently listening to this.
اگر یہ TIR کے کانسیپٹ کو رشیا کتنی جابس کریٹ ہو جائیں گی اور کس ٹائپ کی جاب کریٹ ہوں گی, اور کیا صرف وہ کلیریکل جاب ہوں گی یا کوئی سپر ڈوپر جاب بھی نکلیں گی یہاں پر, کیا امپلائمنٹ بیس ہمارا بڑھے گا, بزنس ہمارا بڑھے گا, اس پہ ذرا تھوڑا سا آپ ہمیں گائیڈ کر دیں.
I don't know if there's someone who don't understand English. کوئی ایسے ہیں تو نہیں جو کوئی فارنر یا اور کوئی. Anyway, basically رشیا تو ہمیں کہہ رہے کہ آپ آئیں, اس کو 72 days لگتے ہیں وہاں سے جانے میں, جارجیا اور وہاں سے. وہ تو ہمیں کہہ رہے ہیں کہ آپ ہمیں پرووائڈ تو کریں, 27 دن میں آپ کے پاس سے ہمیں پہنچ جاتے ہیں. جو ایک دو لاجسٹک کمپنی ہیں لائک جن سے میری بات ہوئی, انہوں نے تو اسی وقت کہا جی کہ رشین وہاں بیٹھے ہوئے ازبکستان میں, انہوں نے کہا آپ ہمیں کل ہی 20,000 کنٹینر بھیج دو, آپ بھیجنے والے تو بنے. رشینس کے ساتھ جو ہمارا ایک ایشو ہے وہ یہ ہے کہ ازبکستان اور تاجکستان وغیرہ میں تو پھر تھوڑے سے ہم نے بائی لیٹرل کر کے ان کو ہم بھیج رہے ہیں. رشیا میں وہ لوگ ڈرائیورس کو ویزا ہی نہیں ایشو کرتے, سب سے بڑا ایشو یہ ہے. تو رشین سے یہ کہا کہ آپ ڈرائیور کو تو کریں, مطلب کہ لے کے آئے گا بندہ گاڑی تو پھر کیا ہوگا. وہ باقی ساری فارمیلٹیز پوری کر رہے ہیں ٹرانزٹ کی, TIR کی. دے آر ولنگ ٹو ایکسیپٹ دیٹ گڈس فرام پاکستان. وہ کہتے ہیں ہماری بھی کاسٹ آف ڈوئنگ بزنس کم ہو, لیکن ایشو جو ہے وہ ڈرائیورس کے ویزا کا ہے. اور وہ جو بائی لیٹرل ٹریٹی ابھی ہم نے وہ کی نہیں ہے. بیسیکلی ہماری دو منسٹریز جو ہیں وہ کر رہی ہیں. ایک تو منسٹری آف کامرس ٹریڈ کے بارے میں ٹریٹی کرتی ہے, اور منسٹری آف کمیونیکیشن جو ہے وہ کر رہی ہے ٹریٹی ریگارڈنگ ٹرانسپورٹ, ویزاز, ڈرائیور اور ان سب کے لیے. تو وہ لوگ جو ہیں رشین اس وقت کر نہیں رہے. لیکن اگر رشین نہ بھی کریں, باقی جو 11 اسٹیٹ میں سے 7-8 بھی اگر یہ کرتی ہیں, تو ایون دین اتنا ایک والیوم ہے ٹریڈ کا, اتنا زیادہ ہے کہ پاکستان تو شاید یہاں سے لے کے تورخم تک لائن ہی جگہ نہ ہو. آپ کے انڈس ہائی وے بھی شاید پوری وہ ہو جائے. لیکن جو سروسز ہیں وہ اتنی زیادہ ہیں اس پوری میری ٹائم سیکٹر میں. آپ خود سب لوگ جو ہیں وہ لاجسٹک سے ہیں کہ اب یہ ان لوڈنگ سے لے کے, ہینڈلنگ سے لے کے, اور آپ جو ہے وہ ٹرکنگ کی لوڈنگ سے لے کے, ٹرک اسٹیشنز چل رہے ہیں, رستے میں ٹرک والے جو ہیں پیٹرول پمپ چل رہے ہیں, کوئی سبزی, کوئی ریڑھی, کوئی فروٹ والا, تھنگ لائک دیٹ. اور اس کے بعد کسٹمز ایجنٹ ہیں, شپنگ ایجنٹس ہیں, یو نیم کہ پوری ایک چین ہے. پھر وہاں پر جا کے ڈرائی پورٹ پہ رک رہا ہے, وہاں پر دے آر آلسو ٹیکنگ ایڈوانٹیج. پشاور یا تورخم کے اوپر وہاں کی شہروں کی پوری اکانومی جو ہے وہ آلموسٹ افغان ٹرانزٹ میں جب 1.5-2 لاکھ اور آئی سیف اور نیٹو کے جب کنٹینر جایا کرتے تھے, تو وہاں کی تو پوری اکانومی, وہاں کے کنٹریکٹر, وہاں کی لیبر, تو کچھ ملکوں میں تو 2-4-5% GDP کا ان سروسز سے آ رہا ہے. تو ہماری بھی GDP کوئی 0.5% تو میرے خیال میں کوئی ایشو ہی کوئی نہیں ہے. اور 1% تک اگر آپ یہ پورا ٹرانزٹ کا والیوم کر سکیں. سیکنڈ از ٹرکنگ پالیسی نہ ہونے کی وجہ سے ہم انٹرنیشنل سٹینڈرڈ کے ٹرک ہی نہیں بناتے. ایز یو نو کہ ہم نے لے کے جانے ہیں 60 ٹن اور 70 ٹن ایک ٹرک کے اوپر سریا, اور وہ انڈسٹریز دین کم دین کہ جی چیزیں مہنگی ہو جائیں گی, لہذا ہم تو اسی طرح ہی لے کے جائیں گے. ساری دنیا میں جو ہے وہ 24 ٹن سے زیادہ یا 22 یا 24 ٹن سے زیادہ تو ایک ٹریلر پہ نہیں جا سکتا کہ اتنے, خیر وہ ویل کا بھی ہے کہ اتنے ویلر ہوں تو اتنا, لیکن ہم ان سے ڈبل لے کے جا رہے ہیں, لہذا ہم نے اسٹینڈرڈ بھی ٹرکوں کے وہی بنائے ہوئے ہیں. دوز آر ناٹ ایکسیپٹیبل. وہ افغانستان نہیں کراس کر سکتے, وہاں بھی سارے انٹرنیشنل اسٹینڈرڈ افغانستان جو ہے انہوں نے اپنے آپ کر لیے ہیں. تو ٹرکنگ پالیسی ہوگی تو یہ آپ کے جتنے ٹرک ہیں, آپ کے 2 لاکھ 4 لاکھ ٹرک انٹرنیشنل اسٹینڈرڈ پہ شفٹ ہوں گے, تو پھر ان میں سے تو آپ کوئی بھی لے کے چلے جائیں اور وہاں پر ٹرانزٹ کے لیے یوز کریں. تو ٹرکنگ پالیسی نیڈس ٹو بی in line with the overall transit regime, basically. That's also a very important part. Thank you.
Okay, we are now very honored to welcome our last speaker of the day, Ms. Iqra Irshad. Ms. Iqra Irshad is a CSP officer and she's currently working as domain officer at the Pakistan Single Window, leading the rollout and stakeholder coordination for the Port Community System, which is the national digital platform for streamlining maritime trade. She, as a shipping master, she has operationalized long neglected systems at the government shipping office, introduced Pakistan's first structured grievance redressal mechanism for seafarers, and established a customer facilitation unit that eliminated case backlogs. She played a key role in Pakistan's accession to the Hong Kong Convention and the drafting of the Ship Recycling Act. She brings a track record of delivering reforms in trade, facilitation, and regulatory processes, interagency coordination, and digital public service delivery. So we are very honored, ma'am, to have you, and you are going to speak on From Silos to Systems, Reimagining Pakistan's Connectivity Through Port versus. Welcome.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for such a brief introduction. So I am Ikra Irshad, Domain Officer from the Pakistan Single Window. I'll be briefing you on Port Community System. So basically, Portverse is the brand name of the Port Community System of Pakistan, and it is developed by Pakistan Single Window. So first we will touch upon Pakistan Single Window, and then we will move on to the Port Community System and the explanation and the app, which is Portverse. So this is the sequence of my presentation. So introduction of Pakistan Single Window, then PCS context and the existing maritime ecosystem, and then we will move on to the PCS concept and the global standards which are embedded in the Port Community System, then the project's journey and its implementation model, the PCS system services and the features, which are the Portverse systems and the features, the information services which are being provided by Port Community System, and the application dashboard. Okay, how do I go back? So first of all, I would like to touch upon the concept of single window. So single window is a facility that allows parties involved in trade and transport to lodge standardized information and document with a single entry point to fulfill all import and export and trade related regulatory requirements. So this is a presentation of United Nations. Single window could be defined in different manners, but this is the basic concept of it. So Pakistan Single Window here is the national single window of Pakistan, which deals with the cross-border related trade, and it is an electronic portal which allows all the parties which are involved in cross-border trade to lodge their standardized information and documents. So as a signatory of World Trade Organization's Trade Facilitation Agreement, Pakistan established this national single window, which is regulated under the Pakistan Single Window Act. And under that act, this company, the Pakistan Single Window Company, came into being. So it is a not-for-profit organization, and it is a designated operating entity which has been established under the Pakistan Single Window Act. And it obviously uses technology and innovation for enhancing the Pakistan trade competitiveness. So Pakistan Single Window is the national single window of Pakistan, which relates to the cross-border trade. And within Pakistan Single Window, there are different one-window systems or softwares which are developed to enhance the efficiency of the trade. So there are few principles of Pakistan Single Window or a single window, which are applied to all the one-window softwares or the systems which are developed, which are the elimination of redundancy and duplication, and that is to eliminate or minimize the physical engagement among stakeholders, and to use standardized and harmonized data, automatic routing and verifications, and real-time information exchange, which is quite missing in the trade when it comes to Pakistan. So now I'll move on to the background of Pakistan single window, port committee system. So the port committee system, there were several time release studies which were done, keeping in aspect the conditions of the Pakistan's trade and the Pakistan's port operations. So it was observed that the dwell time and the cost of doing business when it comes to the port operations and the maritime traffic in Pakistan are really high. So so when we talk about dwell time, so by the time that a container is offloaded from the ship and until it's unloaded or it's gated out, it takes about 10 days. And when it comes to the declaration filing, it takes about 3 days till gate out and the declaration is filed. So this was realized by the time release studies, and that was because there was no unified regulatory framework which was available. So when we talk about unified regulatory framework, because there are so many actors involved in the port operations, there are so many different regulators which are involved. FIA has its own functions, and then there are terminal operators carrying out different functions, and there are port authorities, there's mercantile marine department. So all of them have their different, all of these organizations have different domains, and there is no unified framework or a neutral portal through which they can exchange information with each other or exchange data, relevant data with each other. So obviously, it translates into inefficiencies, duplications, redundancies, and later on, another research was done by International Finance Corporation, in which a situational analysis report was done, which was basically the basis of development of port committee system in Pakistan. It was done in 2020, and it highlighted about 4 to 5 different areas or 4 to 5 different problems which are with the port community or the port operations in Pakistan. So first of all, it was first thing which was highlighted was that the complete system is paper-based, and due to the fact that all the documentation is paper-based, the shipping agents have to submit the same, let's say shipping agents, there are other actors also, so the shipping agents have to submit a same set of documents to different authorities to get particular approvals. Let's talk about vessel registration. So when a vessel is coming into Pakistan, the shipping agent has to register it separately with FBR, separately with customs, separately with MMD, and not only that, if a shipping agent is registering a vessel once, and if that vessel goes back from the port of Pakistan, it has come again later in a month or two or even in 6 months, the shipping agent will have to register it again because there is no database available as of now. There is no unique ID and there is no central data reporting when it comes to the inspections of ships. So ships have to undergo a lot of inspections under international maritime organizations, conventions, different conventions. So the surveyors from DG Ports and Shipping Wing or the surveyors from MMD inspect the ships, or customs have their own set of inspections. Same goes for FIA. However, there is no unified database which provides the information, and it results in duplication of inspections, and it can also result in overlooking by the inspectors. So there is no unique electronic ID given to the vessels which are coming in and going out from Pakistan, and there is no database for dangerous goods declaration. So whenever a ship is coming in or going out of Pakistan, a vessel is coming in and a vessel is going out, so if a container has a dangerous good, so there is the IMDG code of IMO. They have to declare it because it increases the risk, and it is a safety question for ports and the ship if there's dangerous goods are on board. But we do not have a database as to how many dangerous goods have come into Pakistan and what goods are leaving the country. Moving on. So this is the existing maritime ecosystem. Currently, this is the ecosystem on which we are functioning. So there are supply chain vulnerabilities. Since there is no real-time reporting, so unforeseen circumstances arise. It could be related to cargo handling, the delays of cargo, it could be because of weather or any unforeseen circumstances. And since there is no real-time data exchange or there is no database being generated, the risk arise and the delays arise because there is no transparency. So if we have a proper database and if we have real-time tracking of incidents, we can also forecast or foresee the future issues which might arise in supply chain, and we can pinpoint and over the course of time eliminate those errors or those incidents. So as I've already discussed, the system is manual and paper-based. So there's duplication, there's so much documentation involved, and the person, let's say shipping agent, he has to go to 5 or 6 different departments physically to submit almost same set of data to different organizations. He has to go separately to FIA, separately to MMD, separately to Port Health, and it also results in confusion and frustration because these all regulatory agencies have their own domains and they have to give these approvals, but because of the lack and because of the absence of a one window or a neutral data platform, they have to redo everything tens of times. So there's unaccounted cost escalation. It only makes sense for cost escalation to happen because since there is no visibility, so the storage cost might increase, the truck idle time increase, which increases in the consumption of fuel. And there are other costs also because there is no dashboard, there is no visibility, and the events cannot be forecasted. And everyone is working in their own silos, standalone, isolated operations. So let's just visually see how the communication is being done as of now. So you see there are so many actors, all of them are talking to each other and 4 different actors at a time. So by looking at it, even we cannot pinpoint that which actor is talking to how many people and imagine this happening in real time practically, how much confusion it would develop. But if we have a one window operation, a port committee system helps all these stakeholders to just have a platform where there is a single data submission and only the relevant information is reflected to the relevant stakeholders. So the concept of port committee system is that it is a neutral and an open platform. It is not owned by anyone. It is not regulated by anyone, but it is a neutral, smart and intelligent data exchange platform. So this ensures that no one's authority or domain is superseded, and at the same time it provides a platform for all the actors to communicate with each other in real time. So it is intelligent and secure exchange of data. The focus here would be secure exchange of data because data security is of prime importance here. So there are a set of standard guidelines, international guidelines on which this system is developed, which I will discuss later. So obviously it increases the efficiency and competitiveness of the whole operations, the port operations, and it has a ripple effect on the business, on the trade, when it comes to the trade of the country. So let's just discuss global experiences as to what countries have a port committee system and how those countries have been benefited. So in the Netherlands, the PCS is known as port base. Like I told you that Pakistan's port committee system is known as portverse, Netherlands port committee system is known as port base, and it has reduced annual cost for businesses involved in logistics by 245 million euros. In Singapore, the PCS is known as PortNet, and it has delivered operational savings exceeding $80 million over 3 years. In India, they have implemented PCS across 16 ports, and it has helped them optimize their operations. So when we talk about vessel submission approval, it was cut from 48 hours to 1 to 2 hours or even real time. And when it comes to container and cargo processing, the time has dropped from 5 to 6 hours to 1 hour. In Spain, they've implemented PCS on Valencia port, and they have saved about 23 million euros annually. And in Chile's PCS, they have reduced their carbon footprint by 83% because they have reduced the truck idle time and fuel consumption. So these are the standards which I was talking about, which are the guiding the development of the portverse, the port committee system of Pakistan. So the first standard is UN EDIFACT. It is related to electronic data exchange. It governs the data exchange. Then there's UNTDED ISO 7372. It standardizes the data elements used in trade documents so that there is consistency and interoperability. Because there are integrations involved with the terminal operation system between the national single window, between the port committee system, between the vessel traffic management system, it is essential that the data elements are standardized. So this is the ISO standard which gives it the guidelines related to that. So there is WCO data model, which is a standardized framework for facilitating cross-border data exchange. There's FAL convention, which is IMO's convention. So there are about 12 to 13 FAL forms, out of which FAL 1 to 7 are mandatory for electronic exchange of data. That is guiding, and that's also the maritime single window technically. So port committee system is not maritime single window. Maritime single window is a small part of port committee system, which is the FAL forms. And then there's IMO Compendium, which also gives the guidelines of development of single windows. And there's ISO IEC 27001. This is the information security management. So as of now, the port committee system of Pakistan is built on these standards. So the data security is of prime importance. So just to quickly go through the project journey, so as I've already discussed, a situational analysis report was done by IFC in 2020, which laid the base and which highlighted the need of development of port computer system in Pakistan. And 2021, international consultants planned the design of port computer system. In 2023, the system was outsourced to Systems Limited for development purpose by Pakistan Single Window. However, the system was then taken back from them, and now the port computer system is being developed in-house by Pakistan Single Window. So the first inauguration and pilot run of PCS processes was done in September 2024, and since then the phased implementation is ongoing. So this is the implementation model, and it is quite interesting. So there's this one national supply chain, and at the heart of national supply chain is national logistics, because logistics are a very essential area of any supply chain. And there are a few key principles on which the supply chain and the automation systems are based on. And those key principles are visibility, interoperability, and sustainability. By visibility, it means that whichever single window system it is, it has to give the real-time status and update of cargo or vessel, let's say vessel. And when we talk about the interoperability, so as I've already told you, that there are different systems. The terminals have their own systems, the big shipping lines have their own systems, the customs have their own system. But all these systems have to work with each other to provide us complete visibility. So it is essential that there is an element of interoperability. And that is the reason why the standardization of data elements is very essential, so that these systems can talk to each other. You don't have to duplicate and make a system which is already there. You can always just integrate, but then the data and elements have to be standard. And sustainability. So it comes about, it talks about the paper-based system, the paperless environment, and also reducing the carbon footprint and reducing the usage of energy. That could be by ensuring visibility, or by decreasing, by embedding such processes or such systems in a bigger system, which reduces, let's say, truck idle time, or which automates the cargo handling. So that's where the sustainability aspect is covered. So within this greater national supply chain, there are three systems. There's a port committee system, there's a national single window, and there's terminal automation system. They all three together make up the complete national supply chain. Below this, as you can see, there are 5 steps. Now these steps were employed and applied while developing the port committee system of Pakistan. So this is a business process re-engineering management system. So in this system, in the step 1, the first thing is to capture the requirement. Let's say the requirement is to automate the port clearance. So that is the requirement. And now in port clearance, we have to see how the current system is working. So that would be capturing the as-is process as to who are the players and what is their role. It would be all the private players, private actors, and the government actors. And then a to-be model will be drafted, in which it will be taken care of that all the redundancies are eliminated, and the system is optimized, and it is digitalized and automated. So it gives us it's the document which gives us the outlook of the new system. And then the implementation phase. In the implementation, in the to-be, the document is made, and then the software is developed, and in the implementation, that software is shared with all the actors to see if the processes have been captured correctly and perfectly. So that would be the implementation phase. And then it would be the deployment, the final deployment, that when everyone has agreed to the to-be model, then the final software will be deployed for production, that is the live usage of the system. So port committee system came into being following this business process re-engineering management process. And as I've already discussed, there was a feasibility study done by IFC, there was a situational analysis report, then a master plan was set up, and then obviously the capacity building workshops for the people who were developing the system, and when deployed for the people who have to use the system, and that would also include the trainings, which are an ongoing process. So as of now, Pakistan Single Window every year trains about more than at least 10,000 users a year. Moving on, this is the concept of smarter trade, smart ports, smarter trade. So if your port operations are optimized and efficient, it has a ripple effect and it optimizes the trade of the country. There are 3 aspects to it. So there are maritime operations, which start from the foreland as to when the vessel is entering into the jurisdiction of your country. Then the anchorage, where ships wait for berthing, and then there's berthing. That is these are the maritime operations. Then there are terminal operations. So terminal operations are berthing, the yard, gate, and the warehouses within the terminal. And then there are hinterland operations. That is when the truck has carried the container and now it has to carry it to the warehouse or the factory, depending on the need or depending on the requirement of the end user. And these 3 systems are then differentiated in different softwares. Like for maritime operations, there's a vessel traffic management system which manages the traffic. So it has FAL forms in it, it has the berthing schedule, it has the anchorage schedule, it has the vessel information report, the vessel registration, and at the same time on this level we have a terminal operator system that would be the cargo handling and the gate operations and the yard and warehousing. Then we have maritime single window, which I've already explained, which are the FAL forms, FAL 1 to FAL 7. It has the dangerous cargo report, it has the seafarers list, it has manifest, declaration of manifest, and different kinds of 7 forms which are as of now mandatory. That is maritime single window. And then we have a trade single window or customs window, which primarily deals with the regulations and the compliances when it comes to the cross-border trade. And then we have a port management system. So when you combine all these systems together, that is when a port committee system comes into being. So these are the service models which are currently embedded in the port committee system. So there is a B2G, where the businesses, let's say the shipping agents or the custom agents or the freight forwarders, are submitting their data for the regulatory compliances to the government. Then there's the G2G aspect of port committee system. In these, there are no approvals involved. It's only the data sharing with other government agencies which are involved in the same system. And then there's business to business communication, which is the electronic exchange of messages of bonded carriers, the port operators, and the shipping agents. And then there's B2C, which is e-invoicing and electronic payments. So these are the service models currently employed in the port committee system. So yeah, the port committee system has to be deployed and employed at all the ports of Pakistan. So currently Pakistan has 3 ports, out of which 2 ports are fully functional, 1 port is not that functional. And this one port committee system is deployed on all the ports because the port requirements are the same almost. So in Pakistan also, each port has its own port committee system. Just like I gave you example of India that they have 16 port committee systems. So now we could quickly go through the services of port committee system as to what services are provided to which stakeholder. So the port committee systems are involved in vessel registration, voyage management, berth management, and nautical services. The shipping line and agents are doing the VIR management, the manifest filing, port clearance, NOCs, and e-payments. The terminals are doing acknowledging the VIRs and voyages. They are managing the arrivals and departures of the vessels. They are managing the delivery orders and electronic load and discharge list. MMD is involved in the inspections and surveys of the ships for MARPOL or SOLAS and other compliances, and collection of fee payments, lighthouse dues. MMD has to collect the lighthouse dues and the managing the port clearance, which also involves a payment. And then FIA. FIA is related to immigration, so they have to view the crew and passenger list. As of now, there is hardly any passenger list, so there is only a crew list available and a seafarer list. And then managing the sign-on, sign-off, and port clearance. And then there's Port Health Department. They do their own certification and service related to sanitation and de-ratting and such functions. In customs, it is seal verification, allow shipment, the manifest management, and vessel clearance. Freight forwarders are benefited by the scheduling, the freight rates, CRO, and e-delivery order. The transporters are online transportation request, vehicle assistant, cargo container management and slot management, empty depot, container depot, and import exporter. So all these stakeholders are getting benefited by some manner. All of these processes are not yet developed, but yes, most of them have been developed and are in the process of deployment or have been deployed already. So I have already gone through the processes already, but just to give you an understanding, there is a phased implementation of PCS, as I've already discussed in previous slides. So these are the packages of PCS. So PCS1 is basically based on vessel management and registration. The package 2 is also based on vessel management. These have been almost deployed and they are in production as of now. And there comes package 3 and 4. So package 3 and 4 are still being developed and they are more related to or concerned with the vessel operations. So these are the information services which are embedded in the port connectivity system. So in the middle you can see data analytics and reporting. So all the data which is being entered in the portverse lands into this one core data set, and then it can create different utilities and different support for different stakeholders. So it can generate berthing plans for the actors who are relevant to the berthing plans. They can always generate that report as per the use. They can give you master tables. So there's cargo track and trace. Event subscription. Event subscription means you can subscribe to an event. Let's say Port Authority wants to know, or the Port Authority actor wants to be notified as to when the vessel has reached the anchor. So he will be notified in real time. He will get a notification for that. Vessel tracking, vessel schedule, and there's also a tool of feedback and survey in which any stakeholder who is logged into the system can provide feedback, and that can be used for improving the system. Okay, so there is a truck appointment system also, which is currently in our plan. So this is basically focused on digitalizing and scheduling the trucks and connecting it with the arrival of the vessel and the cargo unloading, so that we can reduce the truck idle time, and it can also help us, especially in Karachi, controlling the traffic congestion around the areas where the ships are coming in, like in KPT mostly. And this is the application dashboard. So the application can provide flowcharts, tables, and it gives you a visual picture of the scheduling and the tracking. The system is collaborative. Obviously, it is collaborating with different agencies. Few processes are prerequisite to the other processes, so the collaboration is important. So there is no duplication, there is no redundancy, there is no confusion, hence it's more efficient. The data source is really lightweight, so you don't need a huge data to process the system. So it is a very lightweight source, so that it's easy to use by all the stakeholders. So there are reporting and alerts, there are vessel and shipment monitoring, and port scheduling. So these are the aspects covered in the application dashboard. And this is how the login page of the portverse looks like, which is the port connectivity system of Pakistan. Thank you. Yeah, sure.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
मैम अभी आपने जिक्र किया था कि पैकेज 1, पैकेज 2, पैकेज 3, पैकेज 4 इसके PSW के हैं। एज फॉर नाउ जो पैकेज 1 है को रिलेटेड विद द पैकेज 2, तो अभी क्योंकि ब्रॉडकास्टिंग अथॉरिटी में जो सुपरविजन हैज़ बीन इम्प्लीमेंटेड, बट इट इज़ नॉट स्टिल नॉट लिंक्ड विद द पैकेज 2. व्हाट इज़ द रीज़न बिहाइंड दैट? बिकॉज वी आर स्टिल लाइकिंग दैट package 2 is still waiting for implementation in the port authorities.
Yeah, that's right. So currently, if I talk about it, then the vessel registration is done, the vessel management is done, the VIR is done, all the FAL forms up until port clearance, which is the end-to-end integration till the terminal. So that is done. In QICT, even we have successfully run 2 vessels live on production. But I talk about package 3, so that is vessel operations, and that I'd already told you that it is in the development stage still. We are working on 2.0, and then we will start 2.5. So because that is dependent on 2.0.
Because we have started with the deployment of the PSW in the terminal side. And terminal, the DP World they have started the DP World,
Yeah.
the voyage vessel registration. Then ultimately it has come to the port authorities, so that other activities, allocation of the pilots, other resources to the ship has to be implemented alongside that.
Okay, that utility is developed. In this week only, there is a refresher session with the port authorities, terminals and all. So you will be benefited by that.
So thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. That was a detailed presentation. I just want to ask one thing. There's a Incoterms, like cost insurance and freight and freight basis. Let's take a perspective on exporter side. So we have a company and shipping agent, and I want to deal with the remittances. Let's suppose I want to send money to State Bank to my headquarter. So as a shipping agent perspective, can we able to see the e-form certificates easily on the PSW portal?
Okay, so what I understand is that you are talking about viewing your financial instruments.
Exactly.
Is that so?
The regulatory compliance.
No, actually, we do get a bank endorsement on the financial instruments on the system. That is, in our plan. But since that is the domain of banks, the financial instruments, so they are not as of now being viewed in the port committee system.
But it's an existing mechanism that you have proposed. So don't you think that decentralization is a good thing for things gonna smooth?
Yeah, I do understand what you're trying to say, but the thing is that there are about 30 banks, I think roughly, I'm not even sure. So we have to integrate with each bank to view these documents. So as of now, we have only integrated with them from the endorsement purpose, but on later stages, if the PCS has matured, this can be taken into consideration.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
A long day, and we hope to see you tomorrow, the third day of the summer school, inshallah ta'ala. Good evening and Allah Hafiz.